I think I should also buy the print version.
Honestly, it's a super like cute. I love this type of paperback, like the feel, the floppiness.
Mine's not super floppy. I did have to bend it a little bit, but
I mean, I didn't even read the ebook in the end. I listened to the audiobook.
I also listened to it on audio.
I did too.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Liveshow today for Teach Me by Olivia Dade. How did you like the book? I'm sorry. I think it's the first conversation I have today.
I feel that.
Well, what did you think of it?
I need to say I had a slow start in the book because I was honestly confused by the whole, not really by the teacher thing, but the history. I'm not from US, so I had a hard time to understand what even is the difference between each classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was glad when we got over the point where this was no longer the whole conversation between the main characters, between Martin and Rose. But in the end, I give it 4 stars. I really liked it. It was cute.
Ooh.
Sorry, I was luring Mike out of the office with treats.
I give it a 4 stars also. I feel the same because I'm also not from the US. So sometimes like I get confused by like what honors and AP and like what's the difference, and I don't understand that. But I understood at least the tension. So I was like, this obviously is important. So and I also give it 4 stars because I think I was similarly to you, Zoe, confused in the beginning. But I think once, like, I guess not that, children's education is not as important, but once it wasn't, I was like, okay, I'm here for it.
I give it 5 stars.
Ooh.
I am in the education field, and eventually I'm going to go back to school to get my credential to be a teacher. But like I related so strongly to like both of the characters, and actually like I studied to be a history teacher. Like that was my major. So it was just really cool and fun, and like all of the emotions that they had about supporting their kids and like the different like traumas that kids have experienced, as well as like the experiences of lockdown drills. Like that was something like I was like, that is exactly what's in my brain. That is what I go through. Like it's my experience. And even like without that experience, I just loved the couple. Like they were it for me. Like they just scratched an itch in my brain.
I'm currently on year 11 and I have not finished. Here's the. I don't know if you saw in the Teach Me thread. I was struggling to read this book, so I was like crap. And then I was like, I'll use my Audible credit. We'll just throw the Audible credit at it. I was listening to it 3.3 times speed today, and got to chapter 11.
The audiobook is good though. Like I find it's speedy.
Yeah, which is why I was able to put it on 3.3.
Yeah. I also listened to it on 3 speed.
I tried 3.5. That was too fast. So, but yeah, so far I am enjoying it, and maybe because I am dating a teacher, it felt like a little bit harder for me to get into it, because I always have to hear about it and everything like that. In fact, he's currently getting ready to go on a week-long trip with his student, which will fun, but I have to be alone. So. Highly.
Yeah. You pay honors. Who?
I don't know
But-
them.
I took AP US history in high school. I did not take honors history because that was not a thing at my school. You could have on English, but not honors history. But AP is just like college stuff.
So I did my own conclusion in the end. I didn't bother to Google it because I was like, I figured this out on myself
Yeah,
because I'm smart.
me too.
But is honors class something that if you are like in the last years of high school, so you can take a test on it in the end, so you have the points for that in the end. So we have at least something like for the A level in Germany, we have something that you can decide in which classes you want to take your final exam. And is it something like that, the honors class?
So AP would be that. Honors is like the level before it, and it's like just prepping you for that level essentially. It's weird.
So we're
The
both like, okay.
The
Why-
American education system.
I mean,
Confusing.
it makes sense, but why is it called honors class? Honors class is something like for me, it's like, ooh, I'm an honors
But
class.
for us, yeah, for us it was the same.
I
So
don't know.
okay.
And so like
Um,
AP stands for advanced placement. And what's funny is if you take the AP class, you don't have to take the AP test. The whole class is
No,
preparing
you're
you
just,
to
Okay.
take the
offered
test.
also.
Okay.
And
So
it's-
if you were in
have to pay
honors-
to take the test.
Interesting.
In
The American
in
education system is
Wisconsin, if you were taking the AP class, you didn't have to pay to take a test, but you could also take the test, not required to take it. At least for AP US history, when I took it, it wasn't like required, but like you got your credit if you took it.
what's wrong with you? Why should you
I love
pay
that
for
we're
a test?
learning things.
and so when the test has like 5 different scores you can get. You can get a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5. But you only get college credit if you get a 3 or higher.
Even if you took the class?
Yep.
Even if you took the class.
You have to test in order to get college credit.
I'm so glad that they didn't explain that in the book
Same. I would have
because
been
I
like,
would be out.
Yeah.
I was
and
just like, good for those kids.
And
Yeah.
we also have this ACT test. Like if you take AP level classes, you are prepped for that ACT test. But it's all confusing.
That say something to me. I read some from time to time about these tests in US books.
What's an SAT then?
SAT more for Eastern and West Coast, essentially. And ACT is used more specifically in the Midwest. It's like your junior level standardized test, essentially before your junior.
Are they almost the same,
And
I guess?
Essentially,
Okay.
there's little differences, but like and certain schools only accept one over the other.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So there are kids that end up taking like the SAT and the ACT to apply to a whole bunch of different schools.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
In Wisconsin, the ACT is a required standardized test for you as a junior in high school. So,
Okay.
like, everyone has to take it in high school in the state I live in. But you feel like you didn't get a good enough score, then you have to pay to take it again.
Okay.
But for the first time, you haven't paid. You don't
first
pay
time,
for that.
It's important. Like, you have to.
Yeah. For first time,
Okay.
you just get as like a normal standardized test or something like that.
Okay. I feel like I learned so much in this last 10 minutes. I was like,
Yeah.
I've just taught you about the education system, even though I'm not a teacher.
I mean, here in Germany, we just don't go to school, and it's different from. It depends on which level you take in the end. Which I don't know even how I need to say that, but I don't have an A level. Like this is the highest thing you can get, and when you have the A level, you can in the 11th and 12th class, you can cut out one semester, and this will not count in your final
Okay.
grade, but your final exams obviously will be a part of it. And then it depends on how good your grade is. You can go to different unis and study there a specific class, but you can study on any uni you want, except for medicine. You have to apply for that.
Mm.
And
I
that's
think-
cool, I think.
I think because Quebec is very different from like the rest of Canada, because I find like I think the rest of Canada, not that they're doing ACT or SATs, but I think they do have like college level or whatever. But in Quebec, we have pre-university that's called Cégep, and in Cégep you take your like university prep classes. So I feel like it's like in the middle. So you have to get into Cégep, but obviously everybody gets into Cégep because you just need to have done the classes. So you need to like pass whatever class it is, like math or like the general classes to get in. And then from there you get into specific programs. So like let's say for me, I have anthropology and sociology degree in university, but in Cégep, I had to take like liberal arts, which is like philosophy, history, anthropology, that kind of thing. But to get into that, like I just had to have a high history score and a high English score in high school. But like in high school, my history and English classes weren't like specific to that, I guess.
Yeah. And for me was because I didn't take an A level, for me was completely different. I just needed to finish my my scores and my grades, and then I was approved for my final exam. And if I haven't a good enough grade, I will obviously couldn't write it. And everything I did before was not necessary. Everything was important is what I wrote in the test in my final exam. And this grade was my end grade. And with that, I could apply at apprenticeships and different schools if I wanted to take an A level.
Yeah.
I never did that. I did an apprenticeship. But okay. My next question will be about Rose, but because Lucy wrote about Martin, how did we like Martin as the man in the story?
I really liked Martin, I'll say. I thought he was super, super cute, kind, aware, unproblematic king. Like he was just like super sweet. I really liked Martin. I really liked that he like took the time to listen and like. And what can I say? I love a Delph. You know, like he's a daddy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I need to say that I think he's really cute and I love him too. But from time to time, when he talks about like it's very open and aware and stuff, I'm like, this is so clearly written by a woman.
Yeah.
That it's so unbelievable for me that it gives me almost an ick to the whole story. I was like, okay, yeah, Martin, we get it. You are cute.
Martin, we get it. You know everything.
Yeah. After that, I just needed to read something with a bad boy to lower my standard again. So
We go from this to Zodiac Academy. Like, okay, this is what
Let's
men
go.
should be. But the reality is
No,
yeah.
The
go back.
duality of men. The duality of men.
No,
Oh wait,
just no.
I have it right here. The duality.
Ah,
This is what. How
and
was
there's
it
a
called
teacher
again?
in that one too.
Yeah.
Orion.
no, that one's
Can't
not.
forget.
This is how the professor could be, and he chose to be a dick.
Yeah. Martin he was just a cutie.
What Lucia said it just has me cracking up. Martin is absolutely my dream, but definitely because it will not exist in real life. Accurate.
Yeah. It will definitely never exist in real life. This was just too perfect.
He definitely was too perfect, but you know, sometimes we gotta live a little, okay? And
I think
sometimes
that's
we need them.
again.
So let's go back to the school and in the UK. get a certificate of secondary education which you take in the last year of high school in every subject.
Mm.
Uh-huh. A-levels, German 1, 7.
Okay, anyways, it's just gonna be in here under the couch for a while now.
What do you want?
Now just make sure he doesn't try to eat anything out of the garbage.
What's wrong with
My
cats?
dog literally used to do that all the time. Like I would find her with random shit in her mouth, and I'm like,
He knocked over the full garbage can earlier today. So
yeah.
oh, you like to get out? No, never mind.
My next question is about Rose. How do we like her as a main character?
I like Rose because I am her. So everything that she did or said, she's like, I like him. Time to be a bully, and that's me. He's asking too many questions. Cold.
I would simply die for Rose. I love her, and if Martin wasn't there, why not me?
Same.
Like
So-
I'm here.
I also really liked Rose as a main character. And I think one thing that I really liked about her is this, I mean, obviously both of them were older than are actually stereotype romance girlies and boys in the story. But I really liked her because you notice that she's really an adult and she's older and she knows what she wants in life and what she don't wants in her life anymore. And she lives by that, but without being like rude or mean and annoying to other people like teenagers or young adults can be. And even though she was cold to Martin, I really liked that about her because the reason behind it was like you get that, and also they were like colleagues. And she was like, even though I'm liking him, he's my colleague and he wants to take my history classes, whatever, AP honors, I don't know anymore which one he wanted to take.
he had her honors classes, which she was nervous would hinder the enrollment in her AP classes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I remember.
I remember this because it's real prevalent in the first 11 chapters.
Yeah, she seemed
Yeah.
real.
She did.
I'm going to read a grown up. Yeah, this was also really refreshing for me. I think Olivia did a great job to it. Even though I also read the spoiler alert series from her, but it was sometimes kind of a little bit unrealistic because obviously in spoiler alert it's about stars, celebrities. How realistic can this be? But I really liked the story because it was so real and it was not like over dramatic. And my next question was always something I thought about in the last 15 minutes because I realized that I host the live show today. How did you like it or think about how the author dealt with the issues from both main characters? Was this sentence correctly or should I say it again?
I got what you were saying.
Yeah, okay.
I picked up what you put down.
Yeah, how did you like it? How she talks about the difficult issues?
I think it made sense because they always communicated with one another. So there's like hints here and there, like when they're thinking, they're like, oh, from my past. But like most of what we understand from their relationship came from them communicating with one another, or like him communicating with his daughter, or her communicating with her in-laws, right? So I think that was well done because it didn't feel like too like sometimes you have characters who like just think like, oh, this is causing me problems because of that one time that this happened. So like I like that it felt more natural than other books, let's say.
Are you confused because you can hear your dad, but you're here with me?
He's like, yeah, bring me back.
Well, Luke is trying to record practice stuff for his kids going on the trip. So if you hear Sting piano playing in the background, that is what that is. He's just doing it in our kitchen. So Finn is in here, so he doesn't try to eat the corpse. And he's very confused because he can hear him, but cannot see him. But Finn also really isn't enjoying. He says, "Go team Rose and Martin. Yay for education.
Yay!"
Ooh.
Exactly.
So please."
Jenny, were you gonna say something before? I feel no.
Sure. I liked that they felt real. Like their issues were real, and it like I feel like most romance books, because they deal with people in their like 20s or
Mhm.
like early 30s, like a lot of it is issues that maybe they've realized but haven't done anything about, or like their fears are like really really ingrained in them. But with theirs, like first of all, they were real fears, like based off of previous relationships, and like they knew they were there, and they weren't afraid to communicate those issues
Mm.
with the other people around them. And so I feel like it lent itself to like having a more realistic character. Like you could see, like, yeah, they're gonna fall in love, and it's going to be hard for them, but they're going to communicate through it.
Mhm.
And it's like something new and fresh for romance, in my opinion. Like I read a lot of romance, and there's not a lot of like that sort of like, okay, we know we have issues, we can talk to each other about our issues,
Mhm.
and we can work through them and accept that, yeah, we both have issues, and these issues might get in the way, but eventually we will be comfortable enough with them.
Yeah, I also think, like you said, Jenny, this was amazing. I also really liked that it was not over dramatized, like in other romance books. Or maybe I read the one once when they're like, this is a huge part and they want to keep a big secret about it. And I'm like, I have
Mhm.
these huge problems. And sometimes I have sometimes the feeling the problems that the characters have is just for the shocking value for the reader, that they're like, oh my god, this is definitely a problem. And I will not say that these issues in the Teach Me book is not big. I mean, there are also big issues, but it felt more real. It's like
Mhm.
also with it felt more real because also like they're older, and I just love that they're older. Maybe I should read romance books with older people, not 19-year-olds.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, they can talk. It's not. I was not sitting in front of my book and was like, "Can you just please communicate with each other?" With different romance books today.
I think that's the thing. Like sometimes I forget that like even a 21-year-old, like when I was 21, this frontal cortex, she was not built. Okay, I was dumb, and I think like sometimes I forget because you're like reading a 20-year-old, and they're like, and obviously they're like, I am a new publicist at this big old fancy company, so I'm like, you should know things, but no. She's 20. She's like 2 years out of high school. Like she doesn't know anything. Like I can't blame her anymore. And I think with reading this book, I think it even struck me when they would like mention their ages. And I was like, oh my God, he's not a 25-year-old father out of nowhere. Like it was just, like, in my head, I'm like, this is why they're mature and like it makes sense.
I honestly I was a little bit surprised. I know. I mean, this series is, when you look it up at Goodreads, it says that they are all, and this is a whole series, and every king character is over 40. So it was not a really big surprise for me. But when
Okay.
when he entered the room and his daughter came right behind him, and this was like a whole as teenager, I was a little bit shocked for a moment. I was like, maybe he has a 9-year-old or something, and not a 16 or 17-year-old daughter. 17, she turned 18 in the book. Like I was like, oh my god, that's a dope. I like it here.
That's a DILF. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a DILF.
That's a dope.
Did you also think that it was kind of a little bit weird that Rose still has a lot of contact with her in-laws.
Yes.
You do?
I think that's weird. Maybe it's because we'll be 25 this year, and every single boyfriend that I have had, do not speak to them, their family, their parents anymore. Like I find that a little bit weird, but also my best friend sticks to her ex parents like on a daily basis because we all went to high school together. So it like we're all friends. Your parents are like our pseudo parents and stuff like that. But like I have never had that.
I mean, it's kind of cute, but also weird because this is, I think, we don't do something like that here in Germany. Okay, when there are kids involved and like grandchildren, then obviously
Makes
you
sense.
do that. It makes sense, but otherwise, I was like, they're
They don't
eating
have
out
that.
together every week or every 2 weeks. I think she mentioned it was like, that's a little bit weird. to
I
me.
also found I'm currently finding it a little bit weird that she didn't want to leave the school system where her ex is still employed, like a position of power over her.
Who?
Her ex-husband is like in charge of the department.
No.
Dale.
I think
Dale's
this
not
was
her
just a random dude.
Yeah, Dale's just a random dude.
Yeah.
But I think this was a random dude, and he just thinks that he had something, I think, with Rose.
No, because the reason why she feels like she has influential friends, those are his parents.
Yeah, but it's because they have money.
Because they were married. What is her ex-husband?
I'm confused.
I don't remember this at all.
Because
I've just had this realized to me. Like she says, I got that. Hold on, real quick.
I'm also confused with the whole part of she has influential people on her side. Is how much can you influence with money a school system? Yeah. Is that a thing in the US?
That's just
welcome to America. That is a thing.
Oh my god, okay.
I love that I'm like researching and I just hear Dorothy's in the background.
Oh, you can. I'm
the
so
beautiful
sorry.
music. No, it's nice.
Okay, it's okay.
It's nice.
Okay, I was hoping they really because it's just tiny.
It was her husband.
I'm really like. I'm sure she's mentioned his name at the end when she goes to their house.
Yes. Does Dale have much influence over your career? You're asking me how I've avoided disciplinary measures when Dale and I obviously despise one another and I barely speak to him.
But that was because he groped her.
And she goes, I have influential friends. Her former husband raised an egocentric, pompous ass of a son. But from the beginning, they treated her with generous kindness of doting relatives. Blah 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 blah.
Her ex-husband's name is Barton. It's in the last page. Barton, yeah, very rich name. But it's like Annette's side, all that started when you married Barton, and all that ended when you divorced Barton. Barton Buckham, total dick. Dale, she doesn't like Dale because
I fully thought that's her ex-husband.
Yeah. No. She doesn't like Dale.
I thought for a second that I overread something.
Yeah, she doesn't like Dale because Dale groped her. And she rejected him and she told him never to touch her again. Yeah. And that's why he hates her.
I fully have been thinking this entire time that Dale is her ex-husband. And I was like, why would you stay in a school with your ex-husband?
There was this Martin's story, or was it her story that the partner was pissed off that he or she so much for school? No, it was Martin's story. I'm sorry. I did get confused. That the partner was
like that the ex-husband's name is Barton and his name is Martin.
Yeah. Jenny, that's like what I was reading.
I don't.
I spent 120 pages thinking this Dale is her ex-husband, and that made sense to me.
I think Rose would be smart enough to leave the school if it just wasn't.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I
acceptable.
was like, what did she do there?
But also on the other side, why should she stay even at that school?
Thank you. I don't
I
see a
think
reason.
I think she stays, if I'm not mistaken, because she has like she's like motivated by the children. If I'm not mistaken. Even though they like graduate
And
or whatever, she just loves them.
And essentially, like the program that she is a part of is like it's set up, it's cush. Like even though in the beginning, like she's losing her position, like but if she moved to another school or another district, they might not have even that same program, and it would have to be rebuilt from the start. But right now, like it's set because not every school like has a really great history program in AP history or honors history, like. So she's in a position where it's like, why am I going to leave at the hands of Dale when I have exactly what I want?
And correct me if I'm wrong, it's difficult to be a teacher in the States right now. Yeah, and find like solid jobs and like that kind of thing.
In a district who cares.
In a district who cares, yeah, exactly. And I think it's just that Barton's parents are very well off. But there was a lot of stuff that I was confused because for a while, Dorothy, I also thought Dale was Martin's father. So I was very confused for a little bit.
That's funnier than what I thought. So
because it was like one line in Martin's chapter where he was talking about how he's like, you can deal with dicks like my dad. And if Dale was a dick, well, I was like, is Dale your dad? Like, why is he? So there was like a bit there where I was a little confused too. Then I was like, why would you work for your dad who like was abusive? I don't know.
She explains the fact, like she explains her ex-in-laws right after that. I was like, okay, so Dale is her ex-husband. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be tripped up on this. When I go back to listen to the audiobook, I'm just gonna be like, wow, Dale's not her ex-husband.
No, you're gonna Barton will come.
That's my new thing that I care about. Who cares about this romance? Dale is not the ex-husband.
But I am also like impressed that her ex-husband doesn't even show up in the story. Like I expected at least one dramatic scene with
Barton.
I
actually like that it wasn't done because I was like, we don't need this, you know?
Yeah.
And like she has a good, I think she also has a good relationship with her ex. And I think it's kind of sort of explained in a way where like he was really, really mean to her and she doesn't have her own family. So they kind of take her in and also acknowledge that their son is a dick. And that's how that relationship is explained. And I can kind of understand that, especially if you like they acknowledge that their son is a dick. But this is also like another fantasy world revelation because I was like, I don't know if most people would hope. I mean, you hope, but I don't know.
Yeah, this is also something like I'm impressed with. Like, this is your son, and I'm glad that they noticed that that she's a dick. But this is why this whole situation was so weird for me, that they still have contact with Rose and buy her stuff and do all the things.
It's because they want to take care of her.
Yeah,
like that's.
But on the other side, do they do the same thing for his new wife? Like Rose mentioned that.
But it's Rose says like, I called them on their birthdays and I called them on their anniversary and I did this and I did that. And she says it's a quick like one line where she's like, that new wife doesn't do that. And Barton doesn't ever do it. So that's why they have a better relationship, I think, with her. Is it weird? Yeah, for sure. But like, yeah. Me too. I was like, it's going to come up at one point.
Yes. This was also like impressive for me. And also I was glad that this theme didn't show up in the epilogue. Like some romantic books used to do that.
Happily ever
So
after.
I like that because often, especially with like, I don't want to spoil anything because Jenny's gonna read this book soon, and I want her to find it out on her own about what happens in Heartless. But Cade is a single dad in that book, and it's like not. It's always a thing in single dad books.
I think we have it.
Let me just show you the.
There's
Is it
always
Elsie? Is it Elsie Silver?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You should read Flawless Elsie Silver. But anyway,
yes
the
for the
thing
cowboy
is, like,
girlies.
I forgot. But it's always a thing in the. This will be now my third single dad thing coming up. The new wife, new girl, or whatever does always end up having kids. So if Rose is like, oh, I'm not having another child, I don't want a child, I'm like, yes, representation for me.
Yeah. Also, Rose is over 40.
No. Once you're over, I want to say it's at some point in your 30s, they start calling it a geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah.
Even though you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Rose is
It's after 35.
Yeah, but Rose is over 40. I don't think that if she gets together with a man who has already an 18-year-old daughter, and she's 42,
you're like, hey,
43,
let's have another one.
Yeah, I don't think that this is even a conversation.
Yeah, no. But then again, I do like. No, I'm not gonna say. That's a spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, I know that it's over 35. It's like high risk pregnancy also, but the chance that after 40, 42,
that's a little too much.
That things are happening. Honestly, it can happen, but no, not every time. Okay, Heartless. Just for a question, Heartless. By Elsie Silver. Do I need to read the first book, or is it?
I say read the first book.
I would read it.
Flawless is perfect.
Okay.
They are interconnected standalone. This is following the main character, Flawless's brother, as well as the female character's best friend.
Okay, this is everything I need to know.
I would say you should, especially because they're also mentioned in this. So, like, if you don't read that one, you kind of get spoiled for parts of that. So, yeah.
For the Cowboys.
He could also be like. This newborn could be his grandchild.
Okay.
But also the third board list, that's hockey hands. Just
hockey?
Yeah, hockey.
Interesting.
And they all take place in Canada.
Wait.
They're Canadian Cowboys, y'all.
They're Canadian Cowboys?
They are Canadian.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Wait. Where?
Cowboys?
Where is Chestnut Springs?
Apparently it's like an hour out of Toronto.
Toronto?
Yeah. It's me. It's definitely me because I'm also trying to not give you guys the lovely sounds of my boyfriend doing warm-ups for choir class.
So I'm don't tell my boyfriend that I'm buying flowers right now.
That's literally me all the time.
Honestly, okay,
like,
this is just random. Not a teach me live show. I'm sorry if you're like here for that. But last night I was bored and I could do something for uni, but instead I did a whole Excel spreadsheet of all my on-read books that I have for physical, audio, and ebook. And I have it here, 146 books that I haven't read yet. And I asked my boyfriend, like, how many books do you think I have not read? And he was like, oh, I think a lot, like 20.
Oh no, my boyfriend is way more realistic.
I'm like, it's a little bit higher. What, 40? A little bit higher. I'm like, and when he was like, And I was like, 146. And just sorry, I'm 146. And he was like, you have so many hundred books. You can never read that in your entire life. But like, this is not much.
No,
That
he
actually
could read that in a
yeah.
year. Honestly, he should have more faith.
Come on.
But yeah, this was a funny. Okay, back to Teach Me. Do you want to continue this series? Even though it's like in, I hope at least that in the next book, how was it called? The 40s Love?
40 love, yeah.
40 Love, yeah. That maybe Rose and Martin have a little bit of an hello moment. Because it plays
Give
in
me
the
a Rose Martin
same,
cameo.
it plays in the same world, same city,
Same city.
Marysburg. Marysburg?
Marysburg.
Marysburg.
I'm
Do
sorry,
we know
I'm
what
really trying to
Lucas?
figure out where the Canadian Cowboys are from. So I'm a little distracted. My apologies. I'm trying to figure it out.
They say it's an hour out of Toronto.
But I feel like that's impossible.
I don't know.
I feel like Elsie Silver. Sorry, where's your geography?
I also think it's a fictional place. So like put it wherever.
I know
you
I'm
want
writing like Chestnut Springs. Where is it? And it's like, oh, did you mean Chestnut Springs with the Mighty Moose ice cream? And I was like, this is the most Canadian thing I've ever read in my entire life.
Yeah. Sometimes he's cute, but so delusional sometimes.
I actually am considering going back and reading Spoiler Alert because I always had that on my TBR,
Yeah.
but I never like prioritized it because now I'm a romance reader. So I would go back because I genuinely like her writing, and I think if most of her books like are mature and tackle like topics of conversation like Martin did, I think that I would be genuinely interested
Yeah.
in reading the books.
I actually the second book, All the Fears. I cried so much while reading this. This was so good.
Interesting. I love crying.
Yeah. But yeah,
Kelsey, I'm so sorry. It's outside. It's an hour outside of Calgary.
Okay, that makes
not
so
Toronto.
much more sense. Calgary is the cowboy province, like Alberta. It makes so much more sense now. I was like, there's
I'm
no
sorry.
way it's Toronto.
Immediately thought it was Toronto. I went back to look.
Thank you so much for this clarification. It makes sense now.
so I think this was every question that I had in my mind for this book. It was also not that long.
Yeah. Oh, I was listening to it, cruising, doing my little reports for work, listening to this, and I was like, this is amazing. I read it in like one work day. Like that's all I that's all I did.
I mean, I started a ebook earlier this month in March, obviously, and I didn't really get into it because of like the history stuff. But then I was like, damn it! Sometimes this week there's still our show, and then I listened to this in a whole day. So
yeah.
I need to say, but
okay.
Yeah, like like I said in the beginning, this book felt more real because obviously in Spoiler Alert and All the Feast is about celebrities. I need to say I didn't really like Spoiler Alert that much. I gave it 3 stars. I did think it's a cute book. I had my time enjoying it, but I think I also wrote a review about this. But there were some things in it that I didn't really understand why this was what was necessary to be a celebrity book. But All of This was pretty good. But maybe I just hits too close to home, All of This, because like the female main character works in the healthcare system and she struggles with her job choice, and me too, because this was too close to home.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean,
they said yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
the people have spoken.
I mean, we can buddy read it.
Here's the thing. Now it is a ridiculous line that is said book, but the cowboy hat rule is insane, and I just need more people to know about it. So like when you get there, you know.
So I bought it.
Comes up again in Heartless. I should.
As you
So
should. I
Yeah.
got mine down here. Wait.
Yeah.
I bought an ebook. So
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but-
like, should I
I
buy
got the
it?
special edition covers. You got the other ones.
That's
Should
because
buy
I
it?
love a man on the cover.
Honestly,
I
he's
just think
so
they're
hot. I agree. Both of them.
at least, yeah, he looks good. The other books
Hot.
that I have sometimes with men on the cover.
Oh, now I'm debating
Yes.
getting
I
it because
see
I
a man on the
like
cover.
having them.
I buy it.
I see a cowboy. I'm like, hello.
Posted a
You're
picture
telling me.
BR, and Jenny also saw the cowboy book on it. She zoomed hands for the cowboy book.
It's my calling. I
Now
am
I need to
the
add.
cowboy girly.
Okay, I've been convinced. I'll maybe not this paycheck, but it'll come. It'll be coming to my add to wish list so that I remember to buy it.
It's also want to get you.
You know, okay, I have a bone to pick. I don't know. I don't like ebooks. I really don't, and I forget about them. I buy them and they stay. So I really
Yeah.
need to I need to have it physically because I have to be like, you spent money on this. And anything I bought for my Kindle, I didn't spend money on it, even though I did.
Yeah. I honestly, I normally don't read ebooks. I listen mostly to audiobooks or I read a physical book.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I ignore the ebook.
Me too.
Not every time, but I don't normally buy romance books because I don't see why I should pay so much money for a book that
Mhm.
short. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Having an ex. Okay, my boyfriend is currently. I see the delight from Tangled. I didn't realize it. I didn't. His choir was doing it because it's our song.
Aww.
I'm like about to cry.
Well, perfect for the romance live show.
but yeah.
What's up? What's going on?
Also, it's not every time cheap, but the only time when I buy a romance book in print form is when the ebook is more expensive than the print version.
Hmm.
It happens too often that the ebook is $11.99 and the hardcover book or the paperback is like
Paperback, 12.
€6. Like,
60.
let me save some coins. But yeah, okay, this was everything today.
Next month, are we still reading The Wedding Crusher?
The Wedding Crasher. Where is it? Where? Oh, she's over there. I hauled it for my wrap up.
Okay.
I have this in my ebook too.
Ow!
I was actually surprised with the synopsis. I never read the synopsis. I did this for my TBR video. I was like,
Oh, I didn't read the synopsis either. Is it funny?
Oh, it's gonna be great.
It has
Kelsey,
so
do
many
you want to do a
tropes.
reading of it? Right.
It has so many tropes.
Just weeks away from ditching DC for greener pastures, Solange Pereira is roped into helping her wedding planner cousin on a random couple's big day. It's an easy gig. Until Solange stumbles upon a situation that convinces her the pair isn't meant to be. What's a true blue romantic to do? Crash the wedding, of course, and ensure the unsuspecting groom doesn't make the biggest mistake of his life. Dean Chapman has his future all mapped out. He was about to check off start a family and on track to make partner when his modern-day marriage of convenience went up in smoke. Oh. Then he learns he might not land the assignment that could be his ticket to a promotion unless he has a significant other. And in a moment of panic, Dean claims to be in love with the woman who crashed his wedding. Oops.
Hi.
Now Dean has a whole new item on his to-do list. Begs Solange to be his pretend girlfriend. Solange feels a tiny bit bad about ruining Dean's wedding, so she agrees to play along. Yet, as they fake date their way around town, what started as a performance for Dean's colleagues turns into a connection that neither he nor Solange can deny. Their entire romance is a sham. There's no way these polar opposites could fall in love for real, right?
I think
that is the wedding pressure.
is a wild guess, but I think they fall in love and get up
You know,
together.
I'm getting suspicions, Zoe. Just the vibe.
Who knows?
Who knows? Let me put on my Sherlock hat and
Scooby and Shaggy solving a mystery.
yeah, maybe we should add the chat in the Discord so we can chat about the book if we get to that, or we finish it like every time 2 days for the live show.
I literally all the time.
Exactly.
I have to remember it, you know. So,
Yeah, I think it's time to start the book so I can finish it one day before it. Whoopsie.
Can we just talk about what Finn was just doing? He only had one paw just here and was like, yes. He is still trying to viciously attack my
I
hand.
love oh my god, his face. He's so
Cute.
He just turned 10 months old.
10 months old. He's still a baby.
Still a baby. Your birthday's coming.
Oh, what's his astrological sign?
His birth May 31st. So I believe he's a Gemini.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Hi.
We understand.
Yeah.
Hello. How was your pod party?
And Kelsey no longer has to wait for her next paycheck.
I'm gonna cry.
Jenny said, "Friend cowboy romance."
Jenny said, for the Canadian.
The Canadian, we must have Canadian cowboy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Why
I'm
are you
embarrassed now.
This is more for me than it is for you. I'm gonna be real. Like,
Listen,
I'm embarrassed now. Thank you.
Cassie, when it arrives,
Oh yeah, we'll buddy read.
we're about to read it.
We have to. Now we have to. The world has
Lucy
seen.
do it too. Lucy, you now have to buddy read Flawless with Zoe and Kelly. I've volunteered you.
So we
I
can
will be
go to the
Powerless this month, so don't touch the microphone.
He's like,
So,
sorry.
okay.
Very cute.
I think we can end the live show here.
I need a coffee. And also I need to like wash my face because I'm like blushing.
I'm gonna go put Finn in his care so he's not
Pestaroni.
being a terror. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
You're also so funny.
I think it's almost time for dinner.
Oh my
for me
god.
again.
I
I was about
always
to
forget
say-
people don't live around me.
Don't say the word around this cat.
It's for me. It was not on KU. The life is so unfair. I mean, I have like 20 books downloaded for KU and haven't read it yet. But
That's the problem.
My whole goal this month is just to clean out my KU library.
okay, so Kelsey, we're just waiting for you. With
Yeah,
the book. Lucy,
it's coming.
me, you.
What? Why did you just?
Yeah, cowboys.
Yeah.
Heck yeah! And I
so,
hope you share your thoughts with me and Jen because
Oh my
I
God.
will.
if I not like this book, I will never talk to you again. Okay?
Okay.
Why is this so even partner of this book club? Oh,
I can accept the fact that if you Finn, please don't scratch my hand.
I'm for sure like this. I'm fascinated by cowboys.
Yeehaw.
I don't even
You
like
and me
horses, but
both.
cowboys.
Sir.
Yeehaw.
Okay, so thank you all for joining for the live show today.
Thank you, Lucy, for your word.
Yeah, thank you, Lucy, for
Thank you, Lucy.
Thanks, Lucy.
yeah, this is well.
Finn also,
So,
even if he is trying to yeet himself out here.
He's like, goodbye, friends.
goodbye.
Hi, I
Time to
must
go.
leave to terrorize the rest of us.
So we will see you in a month for the wedding.
Wedding.
Crasher.
The Wedding Crasher.
Bye.
Bye.
Me too.
She said,
Oh,
"Can quiet."
no.
The rest of you
No. I have to tell her to come back.
broadcast. Just
But now,
Sorry.
bye. I'm
Ending right
sorry.
now.